throat singing for me has been a real journey of healing. I'm a survivor of the 60 scoop. Both my biological parents went through residential school. Having been forcibly separated from my community and my language and ceremony and territory, for me, throat singing has been a way to heal that hurt and that absence of identity. Originally, like, throat singing has been something that Inuit women have been doing for thousands of years. And it's a game, and there's a lot of laughter, and it's fun. It was a journey like 20 years ago when I was in university. I was looking to learn how to throat sing as a way to reconnect with who I am, but it became much bigger than that, in the sense that it's given me a chance to not only travel, go to Europe, over through Turtle Island, but it's been a gift for me to share with my two girls. So I have two girls who are 21 and a 10-year-old, and both of them have heard throat singing since they were in my belly. For me, singing with my daughter, Sierra, it's like a full circle moment, you know, and for her, throat singing is just part of who she is. It wasn't something that was missing in her life, right?
She didn't have to reclaim it. She was born, for sure.
And so for me, I now realize that I've done my job, knowing that my girls know throat singing and know who they are. They don't have that yearning.
Because you're a survivor of the 60s soup, I can imagine it's even more important for you to be able to share, you know, that tradition with your girls. And I can also imagine, though, like, you being here in Montreal, to be able to share the stories from your territory. How is that important to you, being able to bring, like, throat singing here? Like,
yeah, it's actually it's one of those things that being an urban Indigenous person, and it's really hard to see yourself reflected anywhere in the city. It's really hard. It's in some territories, like in Toronto or in even Vancouver, the minute you land in Vancouver, you know that you're on Indigenous land. You just know it from the airport. So, you know, we have a lot of work to do, but I think, you know, trying to bring aspects of who I am and my community is really important. And so throat singing, like Inuvialuit, we don't necessarily do throat singing. We have our own drum songs, and there's a lot of motions and storytelling through that. And so the style that I do is Nunavik and Nunavut style throat singing. And but it is important that, you know, as an Indigenous woman, as an Indigenous mother, that I take my space, and unapologetically, you know. And right now we're sitting in Old Montreal, and this is a place of gathering, you know, Jojage. And so as an Indigenous people, and as you know, music is also international, and there's no words. And so a lot of people get touched by the songs that we sing, and I think that it's a gentler way to bring in who we are, without coming from an angry place.
Definitely.
You know?
Because you're sharing more so than anything. And it's universal as well. You don't have to speak a certain language to understand it. You can just communicate with people.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a specific, you know, thing that comes with throat singing that you think that really, like, tells your story of who you are? Or is it just, you know, throat singing in general you think really encompasses, like...
I think, you know, there's the story of where throat singing comes from. And that comes, there's different, depending on which region you're from, it comes from, like, different animals. There's, like, there's this story about, used to be creatures that had no arms and legs. They just had feet and a head. And they would hide behind the boulders, and they would hear women throat singing, or they would do the throat singing and then the women heard them. So it depends on, but I think, you know, the story that comes today is that we're very contemporary, you know, and I think that that's one of the things too, is that there's, you know, using a traditional sound like throat singing, our story, we are in charge of our stories. So being a traditional throat singer, I'm also pushing my story forward and the story of my girls, in the sense that I try to combine it with something more contemporary as well, like beatboxing or techno or the Montreal Symphony Youth Orchestra, so that, you know, our story is malleable and we adapt, you know, and as we're resilient. We've been here for thousands of years, and we went in 60 years from the igloo to the internet. You know,
Yeah.
the same thing with throat singing is that we're pulling that traditional sound into something more today. So I think, you know, one of the things for me is that our stories are changing. And I think that it's okay to change. And I think that it's, as our youth are trying to figure out who they are, to give them that permission to write their own stories. One of the things that has surprised me the most is on TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok, it's blown up. You know, like throat singing has blown up, and I think, you know, that's like a perfect example of how we are as a contemporary people, that we use modern social media to like showcase who we are, you know, and just stand up and say, this is who we are, and this is what we sound like, and these are our songs, and we're just going to be here, and we're going to be strong, and this is who we are. So I think that it's, throat singing is one of the like venues that you can have a conversation. And so whether it's through TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, I don't know, other social medias, you know, like that, you know, it's how we're communicating and how we're putting ourselves out there. 60 years ago, we would have been put in jail for throat singing.
Yeah.
We would have, someone would have called, you know, the cops and said, well, those two women over there are doing throat singing, and they're doing sounds that we've never heard. And they're, you know, the church told us that it was part of the devil. That was 60 years ago. And so, oh, okay, I'm trying not to get emotional, but
For sure.
It's really good to see my girls sing with no shame, with no fear, and no fear of, you know, are they going to get caught? Are they going to be judged? Are they going to, they're proud of who they are. So I think, you know, it's, we've turned it around, and we actually almost lost throat singing because it was banned, and it went underground. Up north, a lot of Inuit women were doing it in secret because the priests and the nuns were forbid it. And so they told us it was part of the devil. But because it went underground, when it became safe, it came back out.
Again.
You
For
know.
sure.